Bill Ackman, promises to fund centrist, and Adam, I'm coming to you, candidate to defeat socialist Mamdani in New York City mayoral race. Ackman, who's a $10 billion guy, announces intent to fund a centrist candidate, challenge him, Mamdani, to presumptive Democratic nominee and a Democratic Socialist in New York City mayoral race. Who's your best centrist candidate who would go toe-to-toe with Mamdani in the campaign trail and on the debate stage? Let's crowdsource the names and then do a poll. If someone is ready to raise their hand, I will take care of the fundraising. Mamdani, also a member of the Democratic Socialist of America and a Working Family Party, defeated former Governor Andrew Cuomo. So now you're getting guys like Bill Ackman getting involved who are not wanting this. Adam, your thoughts on this?
There's so much to unpack here with this guy. And this is a story that is not going to be going away until the election actually happens in November. So it's like, what do you get when you mix AOC and Jihad? You get Zohran Mamdani. So in my opinion, PBD, you've interviewed how many mafia-type guys, New York City-type guys? In my humble opinion, I don't think New York City is going to go for this. And I think they're going to take care of this one way or another, if you know what I'm saying. The threat will be eliminated. That is my humble opinion. I do not see this guy ended up winning.
You're saying he's not going to win. I just want to qualify, because when you say stuff like that, we are running a live interpretation. Adam, can you clarify what you really didn't mean?
I'm saying that I don't think that the establishment is going to let this guy win.
That's right.
We're talking about Bill Ackman right now and how he's going to basically say, I'm here, I have your back, I'm to the rescue. Give me your best centrist candidate, and quote unquote, I will take care of the fundraising, I will take care of the rest. So what's happening with this guy is this is the perfect foil to whatever Donald Trump stands for. This is American capitalism versus global socialism, jihadism. And you notice that he keeps saying, oh, he's a communist. He's a communist. So, and by the way, let's just not gloss over what he said in that quote. He says, you know, we're going to hear and bring socialism, whether you believe in BDS, AKA, you know, killing all the Jews, or seizing the means of production, shout out to Karl Marx. What could go wrong here? It's not like we have countless examples of the problems that socialism and communism bring to the table. And then here's my final point. You see the numbers, and I'm sure we'll get into it, of Gen Z and college-educated Gen Z, college-educated female Gen Z who are voting for this in New York. And I'm saying this hypothetically, sarcastically, but almost literally. There's a big portion of Gen Z that needs to go to American re-education camps. And I know what that basically means, re-education camps. I'm not talking about, you know, the really, really bad kind. But there's a whole segment of society that genuinely needs to be re-educated on what America is and what America is not. And America is not Zohran Mamdani. You're telling me that a Democratic Socialist Communist Jihadist is going to be mayor of the epicenter of capitalism where Wall Street exists? This makes no sense. If you want to understand that you're living in bizarro world, this is it.
You know, Matt, Adam, and you made a great point, but the one thing I'm going to disagree with, you're saying that the establishment won't do this, they won't do that. You even answered your own question. You corrected yourself. That vote, that 25-year-old and older, I had a guy connect me that was like, Vinny, the older people, the rich people, we had this conversation, they're not, Adam, they don't even know what the hell's going on. Because those 25-year-olds that are watching AOC, they're on TikTok, they're on Instagram, that's that audience that he's getting, and he can win, Adam. I think he's going to win, okay? Because the older people, the really wealthy, Adam, that $123 billion, they're going to move. They're going to leave. That number's probably dropping right now. And you nailed it. He's a freaking communist. He aligns himself with the jihadists. There's a video of him where he will not denounce Sharia law. And that's a whole other conversation we'll get into. But you know what my thing is? Guys, let him win. Okay? I'm dead serious. Let the people who keep voting for this BS, just like California, let them feel it. Like Bernie Sanders says, let them feel the burn. Okay? You want this sympathizing jihadist, wannabe communist in charge of New York? Let them do it. Okay, let them flood the street with crime. Let the businesses collapse. Let the rats take over Times Square, because that's what you're going to get. And to all the New Yorkers, keep doing it. You guys keep doing it. And every time they have somebody to oppose these freaking psychos, nobody does it. You know what? Because you're loyal to your party. It's freaking madness. And it's stupid, but good. Let them do it, Adam. Let them have it. But Adam, look at their pool. From the governor. Look. We had Cuomo, you have Kathy Hochul, you have freaking Mayor Adams, you have this freaking guy. No, they have nothing. They have zero. They have no leadership, and everybody that they pick is trying to destroy this freaking state. And mind you, I'm from Yonkers, New York, bro. They have destroyed New York. Okay, it was a city that never sleeps. It's a city that nobody gives a shit about anymore. It's flooded with illegals. Everybody's leaving. Let it happen, guys. Nothing's ever going to change unless you just let them go. Let them go. And I love that Trump said, come ask me for money. See if you're going to get any freaking money at a federal level. I'm tired of this shit.
He's running on
I feel you. Can I just respond to Vinny real quick, Tom? Just real quick. I feel Vinny's pain on this. I feel Vinny's passion because there's a part of me that's like, let that shit happen.
Yes,
Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Don't forget one thing. This is what's called a Democratic primary. When in primaries, just like that's the opposite of general election, the most hardcore people come out. It's like who votes in midterms? The most hardcore people, right? Who votes for representatives? The most hardcore people. There's a big difference in a general election. So if you're following what Bill Ackman says here, he says, give me your best centrist candidate. If there's one person, whether it's Eric Adams, whether it's Cuomo, whether someone else shows up, and it's one-on-one, Mamdani versus whoever that person may be, that person will win. If it's fractured and there's 3, 4, 5 people running against Mamdani, you're absolutely right. He may be the next mayor of New York, and we might see the official end of New York City.
Pat, do you think he's gonna win? I have a feeling.
Well, let me tell you what's going on.
He's gonna win.
We're in New York. Whether it's New York City, whether it's Hamptons, different beaches here. We're talking to a lot of people. You know what people are saying? Weirdest thing? Guys who sell real estate in New York. Yesterday, this guy named Jason, if you remember him.
I remember.
Right.
Jason, no, his name is John.
Good guy.
This guy named John, right? You pulled him, Tom. When you shook his hand, you pulled him like a Trump.
Jeremy goes,
what is
what are
Tom
you doing in the
right
world? The guy
I'm
goes,
like,
I'm going to go
Tom,
fix
that
my
was-
He
shoulder.
did the Trump?
Tom went
He
like
did the
this.
Trump?
I'm like, whoa,
Tom trumped him.
relax.
Tom trumped him.
So
got him.
anyways, he said to me, he says, and another guy said, he says, isn't it weird that we are all rooting for Adams to win? He says, if you would have told me a year ago, 2 years ago, I'm going to be rooting for Adams to win, we're all now rooting for Adams to win. Because nobody wants this nut job. That's what people are saying in New York right now as we speak. And Adams, believe it or not, there's a part of Adams, the more I watch him, look, nobody, is perfect. People make a lot of different mistakes, different kinds of mistakes. And he was accused of that whole Turkey thing, $10 million, you know which one I'm talking about, investment, all that. Okay, fine. But to me, you know what Adams is going through? Realizing this party sucks.
Yep.
He's like, dude, this party sucks. What the hell am I doing with these guys? I was a guy that was a card-carrying member, and then this is what you're doing now? And I don't know if Adams was Democrat first before New York or New York first before party. I think to him is like, look, being a New Yorker is way more important than being a Democrat. I'm protecting the city is what I'm doing. And even when he speaks, he sounds like he's a New Yorker, right? Adams when he speaks. But Tom, what are your thoughts on this?
He's running as an independent.
I know he
just
is.
so you
I know he is. And then
Chris
is running as a Republican. As we get
Which
closer, I want to say his name right because I got so many Menex people saying you have to learn how to say folks. Half the time I don't even know how to say Adam's name right.
Curtis Sliwa.
Oh, yeah, he's part of the Guardian Angels.
Sliwa.
The Guardian Angels was an alternative protection.
But he's a Trump. He was not a Trump fan. I don't know if he's changed or not, but you're not going to be anti-Trump and you're going to try to be the opposition of this.
Look, so I have a set of thoughts here, and I got to organize them here so that I'm faithful and I don't take up a lot of time. First of all, we have seen elections in recent memory that were supposed to be slam dunks, but went the other way. Canada, Pierre Poilievre, right? Oh, it's a slam dunk, all through the month of September. And then whammo, it's like, wow, what happened there?
Yeah.
So you've got elections aren't over until they're over, number one. Number two, Adam is right that during the primary, the activated group is only the most energized and activated of the party. You look at the turnout. The turnout for primaries is usually 40-50% of what the turnout's going to be in the general election, regardless of whether it's a midterm year where there's less enthusiasm or it's a general year where you have presidential elections and everybody's in the polls. So you've got that. The other side of it is I honestly think Eric Adams is having a personal not metamorphosis, but an evolution. He stepped out of line on the aid packages and sanctuary cities in New York, And in 6 seconds, people that had supported him and loved him, and we are family, we are the DNC, they turned on him. And they turned on him hard. And he's looking at that going, wow, what just happened? I get out of line an inch, and it turns out there is no loyalty. So I think there's a bit of an evolution with Eric Adams. And you got to remember, he came from the police, and he was not entirely lined up with the defund the police. Oh, he towed the line on the racial discrimination and things like that. Of course he did, and he waved the flag a little bit. But then he backed up and goes, no, wait a minute. So I think there's things that are happening with Eric Adams are very real. But the other thing I'll say about this guy, this candidate, which I call Mad Manny, so is look at those banners. Afford to live, afford to dream. And you're talking to people who are out there who feel like, yeah, there's a lot of immigration here in New York City, but I also can't afford it here. I'm not talking about the immigrants that say they can't afford it. I'm talking about regular citizens that say, this is expensive, I can't afford it. And it's the same thing happened to California when all their insurance went up. And they're saying, this is getting expensive, I can't afford it. And they don't turn in mob-like fashion. Back it up, Rob, you can see those backdrops there. That's his backdrop, the orange and yellow, right there, top right. Yep. Afford to live, afford to dream. It's the yellow and blue. You see it everywhere, and it looks like it's just been freshly painted. And it's a very brilliant campaign when you're trying to say the people that did it to you ain't us. It's them, and we need to go after the billionaires. It's the billionaires' fault. So it's a brilliant redirection when the people that have failed have been the party itself, the same way that's failed in California. And we're going to talk a little bit later today about $10 gas.
Yeah.
Hey, PBD, can I ask you a question? Because I actually want to get your CEO input on this, right? So, they say if you don't study history, you're destined to repeat it. There's another quote out there that says, be weary from the person that tells you exactly what you want to hear,
Yep.
Especially if they say what they smile on their face like this guy is doing. Deception often wears the face of charm. So you talked about being a proud capitalist. Walk me through what you think the conversations are going to be like in the next 5 months between CEOs of companies and their hundreds, if not thousands of employees who may be voting for Mamdani. Like if you're the CEO of Valuetainment and everyone here is voting for Bernie Sanders, what kind of conversation do you think is going to happen in the office? Because there's a lot of money at stake here, billions at stake. And believe me, CEOs are going to be, you're saying, oh, if you like this job, we might be moving to Florida, buddy. Put your CEO hat on. What do you think the conversations are going to be like in New York?
Well, it all depends on who you are and who's brainwashing you. Because if you look at this article here that says, stunning number of Gen Z Americans side with Iran against Israel. Okay. So then the question becomes, why? Stunning number of Gen Z Americans side with Iran over Israel. A Daily Mail Jail Partners poll of 1,025 registered voters conducted on Tuesday and Wednesday found that 22% of Gen Z voters, 18 to 29, sided with Iran over Israel in the recent conflict, compared to 41% supporting Israel and 37% unsure. Jail Partners pollster James Johnson stating, looking at the results, it's hard to avoid the conclusion that many young Americans have a problem with the Jewish state of Israel. It isn't that young people have a positive view of Iran per se. They don't, but they don't have such a negative view of Israel that a significant portion of them are ready to side with almost any entity that is against them. Okay. Mm-hmm. Overall, 55% American voters support Israel, 9% backed Iran, 36% were unsure. So watch this. 9% of American voters supported Iran, backed Iran, 22% of Gen Z. All right. What does this story tell you? This isn't an Israel story. This isn't an Iran story. This is a who do you spend the most time with and who has got influence in your ear. Yeah, so we'll sit here, right? And like people watch this podcast and people will text as well. Hey, Tom, boom. Hey, Adam, boom. Hey, Vinny, boom. And then afterwards, someone's going to come in your ear, Adam, or Vinny's ear, or my ear, or Tom's ear. Let me tell you, you were right. Then let me tell you, let me tell you, and let me tell you, this is where Pat's wrong. This is where Adam's wrong. This is where Vinny's wrong. This is where that. But imagine now you're 22 years old, okay, and you're in college. Who is doing that? 4 to 6 professors every day for 4 years. Jeez. What do you think these professors do? 13 to 1 are liberal to conservatives. You have a monopoly on brainwashing you and telling you what to do and what not to do. And you're sitting there buying to it. So if you're asking me a question how CEOs are going to feel about this and how employees are going to feel about this, It's all about what generation has what influence over them. I was having a meeting yesterday, Saturday, right? We're in a room with about 50 people. These are guys that run businesses. One of them was doing, their top line revenue was, $500 million per year. They got a couple thousand employees. You know who I'm talking about? Maria Walker, inside joke. So, we had some people who do a $150 million private equity, all these other things. And we're having conversations. Who should we trust when it comes down to media? And there was a couple guys that were their conservative media company that they're running, Tom. You know which ones I'm talking about, the guys that are in the room. Mm-hmm. And so I said, all right, so here's a question I got for all of you. What's that? I said, the way I watch people when they come after us or they say certain things, the reason why I'm not offended, because I understand people's opinions are created based on a handful of things, Adam. One is, everybody's biased. Whether you like it or not, you're biased. Majority of people, guess what they choose as their faith? Majority of people, guess what they choose as their faith?
Atheism?
No.
Christianity.
No. Hear me out. Let me ask you one more time. Majority of kids, when they're born, by the time they're 25, 30 years old, what is most likely the faith they choose?
Whatever their parents.
Whatever their parents had.
Oh, for sure.
Whatever their parents had. Adam, your parents were Jewish. Your parents,
Jewish.
Christians.
Yep.
Tom's parents, Christians. You choose your parents' faith, right? Because there's a little bit of what? Bias. If your parents were in the military, you join the military. Our pastor, Dudley Rutherford, his brother just passed away. He made a very nice video about his brother, whom we saw him give a sermon. I think all his brothers are pastors. His father's a pastor. His father was one of the funniest preachers ever. His uncles are pastors. Everyone's a pastor. If you're born in that family, you're most likely going to end up becoming a what? A pastor, except if your name is Dallas. Everybody else is probably going to end up being a pastor. That's an inside joke. He'll get a kick out of it. Okay? So we all have a bias. Guy sends me a message. I can't believe you had Tommy Robinson on. As a Pakistani, I want to debate him. I said, go make a video. I understand you're not happy about it, but there is data. But as a Pakistani, I understand why you're loyal. All the Reza Pahlavi, I get it. You have bias. Number two is what? Number two after bias is who was offended. Watch people's position on who offended them. Number three is which propaganda you're buying. Everybody's buying into propaganda. Very few people are truth tellers. Most people are selling a propaganda or bought into propaganda. What's number four? Who has the highest score of being able to reason? And last one, who is fair? And only time tells who's going to be able to get those 5 things right. There are certain things we have all biases on, certain things we don't have biases on. Unfortunately, most young kids, Adam, that are going through this, they have been bought into propaganda coming out of a university, and it takes years of eliminating all that brainwashing they got in universities, and that's a lot of effort and a lot of work. So we'll see what happened with the range of people that follow The Future Looks Bright. It's absolutely amazing. Seeing people in airports wearing Angry Patriot gear, Future Looks Bright gear, all over the place. Exciting times. And it's 4th of July, and we love America, and we love freedom. And if you do as well, you love the brand, Valuetainment, you love America, you believe in Future Looks Bright, this is a way for you to support your brands. This is why we don't take sponsorship money. We do it through the businesses that we run. And by the way, we are shameless capitalists. We don't hide it. We believe in capitalism. We believe this is the way to make the money so you don't have to go in, have to be loyal to somebody that's giving you money. Our loyalty is to you. We talk to you raw, open. And if you like it, you don't like it, great. You get to connect us and say, Pat, I disagree with you. I can't believe you said this. And if you agree, great. We talk about it as well. So this weekend, 4th of July, we have a blowout sale up to 60%. On top of that, we have the women's line that also came out. Rob, if you go to the website, there's a women's line as well that we have out there. If you go on the collection and you go to ladies collection, ladies, you ask for it. We now have some gear. Big influence of this is Jennifer David, who said, we need to get some ladies gear. Future Looks Bright. I will also give a shout out to Kim, because Kim's been telling me that she wears the short sleeves when she goes golfing. So thank Jen and Kim for a lot of this. So anybody that places an order over $400 of merch, myself, Vinny, and Tom will be FaceTiming you. And I swear to God, if anybody decides to return anything, Adam will be FaceTiming you.
Yes.
It's true.
He already volunteered for that. So we appreciate Adam's support for doing that. He's the best retention guy we have in the company. But $400 will be FaceTiming you guys to
Don't
talk
make
to
me
you.
come over to your house.
And he will, buddy. He will.
I will.
All right. Go to vtmerch.com. Place your order if you believe Future Looks Bright. Get some of the gear. Sport it everywhere you go. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.